This video is brought to you by 86. Pick up video game apparel from Skullgirls and Monster Hunter World. 86.com/?AFF equals 4 and let them know that we sent you. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of going through E3 I just said the title a minute ago. So before we begin, this is the way we format our stuff now. So hello, I am Anthony. I am the host of this game mess of a podcast, and with me as always is none other than Greg Dietz.
I am Greg, Robot Greg. Hi.
Hello, Robot Greg. But yeah, so E3 is happening. That is a thing that is going to be happening, and by the time this posts tomorrow, it'll be this weekend, or technically starts on Thursday. Technically, with the Summer Game Fest. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about E3 and all that's happening this weekend. And one of the things that surprised me is the fact that I thought this year would be pretty okay when it comes to not having any leaks at all, because we're all at home, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty kept held to the chest. But no, apparently, there has been several leaks that happened from the last podcast to now, before E3 happened. So I'm like, oh, okay. it's still E3.
I'll say this much: I don't know how I don't see them, but I don't ever see them. When that Sonic thing happened a couple weeks ago,
right?
Where they were like, "We're making a new game," everyone was like, "This was already leaked weeks ago," and I'm like, "I never said shit. I never heard shit." Right. I don't know what it is about these days, but I don't ever get spoilers ever, or leaks. I just don't see them. It's weird.
I'm gonna say you're kind of lucky. It's just to me, when I see him,
I mean, you got to keep in mind, I'm on Twitter every day, and I do not the muted word that I have. The one muted word that I have is "dead game" because of all the fucking comment or the post that would happen when Fall Guys would post. That's all I have is "dead game."
Do you follow Wario64? Okay, interesting.
Because I don't know. I don't know how.
So. It's interesting because from my perspective, I'm on Twitter as well a lot. It's right here in my third monitor, and I see it popped up from Wario and other people in terms of some of these games have been leaked. It's not necessarily I think they were leaked. I think that they released the info too early when it comes to these game companies, because, for example, No More Heroes 1 and 2 is going to be on Steam. It's going to be on PC. And that posting for the Steam page went up days before the Nintendo press conference happening next week. So my gut feeling is that somebody messed up and had the ticker timer go off early. And to be fair, between Japan time and here time is a whole different can of worms. So I'm assuming there was some miscommunication for when that's supposed to go up. So it's majority of the leaks had just been timings of these pages going up before the actual announcement.
Well, I'm gonna say this in regards to that. Honestly, expect that this month a lot of classic games that were strictly on console, or specifically No More Heroes, being a motion control based fucking game on the Wii. Expect a lot more of these release of remasters and whatnot, because they're successful. They're extremely fucking successful.
Hell yeah.
I bought it. I fucking bought it.
Nice.
So yeah, they're successful.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was fighting this game because I was revisiting this game recently.
Hell of a game.
But
yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Mass Effect franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't played the trilogy since the initial release because let's admit, Mass Effect is a long game. You can't just revisit it quickly.
Yeah.
So I was really excited, and I was like, man, I don't want to play through the first game again because I remember it being so janky. And it is janky. The first game is janky, and it still has a lot of jank with the remaster, but it's like the jank made the first 10 hours a fucking slog. This remake reduces it down to at least 7, and it's not even remotely a slog. So kudos to BioWare. But point I'm getting at is they're popular. The remakes are popular. The remasters are popular. So honestly, expect it. If I think that here's the downside to these remasters. It's not telling the game industry that we want new games or we want innovative games. Mm-hmm. It's telling them that we just want the same old, and that's unfortunate. However, right now we're in a weird limbo where there's too many new games that come out that are familiar territory, or it's hard to explain. So 2 games that came out this year so far that I think are stellar are Resident Evil 8 and It Takes Two, right? I don't know if you've played It Takes Two, Anthony. I know you've seen enough of Resident Evil 8, if not played it yourself.
Yeah, I've seen the whole playthrough of 8. I've seen
same here.
It Takes Two. I don't say the whole game, but I've seen enough of it to know what happened. I saw the ending too, so yeah, I definitely saw it good enough.
To me, It Takes Two isn't about the story as much as it is about how the gameplay constantly changes. I remember playing with my friend and I was like, damn, this fucking game has like 20 different games in it. It was nuts. But what makes both of those games stand out to me is that they are single-use experiences. Sure, you can replay both games if you want, but realistically, that first playthrough is going to be more special than any other playthrough you have. Mm-hmm. And each game takes about 12 hours. But both games were highly, highly successful. Mm-hmm. But you also have a lot of multiplayer games. And I think multiplayer games are not going anywhere because Warzone, Fortnite, Fall Guys, they are immensely popular. And they're going to remain popular. So in that vein, what we're going to see a lot of is a couple brand new games, a couple brand new things, a lot of rehashes, remakes, things that we've already seen before. Mm-hmm. I think one of the big ones that happened this year that was super fucking unfortunate for a lot of reasons, but admittedly the game sucks, so there's nothing to do about that. Balan Wonderworld.
Oh, right. That's right.
I feel bad for I can't think of the guy's name that made it.
Yeah.
Legendary developer. Why
yes.
am I trying to blank on his fucking name?
Yeah, I know.
Yuji Naka. Yuji Naka. Got it.
Yep. Got
there
it.
He's going to be leaving Square Enix. And yeah. I do think it has a lot to do with Wonderworld. Did Square Enix not give him enough time to finish the game? Is it unfinished as it feels? Is he just upset with, the reception it got? There's so many questions I have about the production and making of that game, that what Square Enix is being told right now is, hey, people just want remakes of Final Fantasy. They just want either a new Final Fantasy, which I doubt that's even on the fucking table, because our last 2 brand new games that were supposed to be big deals did not become big deals. And the other game I'm referring to other than Balan Wonderworld is Avengers.
Okay.
Avengers was a massive commercial failure for them.
I thought you were going to go back to The Quiet Man, but yeah, that is that's not one to point out.
Well, I think Quiet Man doesn't really fall into that category because I know that it had a lower budget and its hype was very minimal.
Yeah.
Whereas Avengers and Balan Wonderworld were Balan Wonderworld had the legendary producer behind it.
Yeah.
And
the guy,
or director. I think he directed it.
Yeah, the guy who helped make Knights back in the Dreamcast days. Or no, Sega Saturn days, I want to say. Yeah. So.
Oh wait, he developed the first 3 Sonic games. So Sonic 2, and Sonic and Knuckles. He was a producer on Adventure 2, Racers, Spinball.
Oh, that fucker made Spinball.
A couple other Sonic games. Like, I pulled up his IMDb earlier, and I was like, dude, this guy fucking made everything that was popular on the Genesis. Well, not everything. A lot of very popular things on the Genesis, the Saturn, and the Dreamcast.
Right. Yeah.
Before he went to Square Enix, anyway. So the point I'm getting at, sorry, I'm getting a little off track here. The point I'm getting at is this leak doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. It's for me. It's less about me being surprised about old games being ported to new systems. It's just the fact that these leaks are happening. I'm gonna say more so, but just kind of unexpectedly, just popping up in a climate where everybody is at home, and especially when it comes to these companies, like, it is tied down in terms of, like, there's probably like a 1% chance that it will be leaked, just because, like, we're not going outside. Employers are keeping these things close to the chest, and yet we still have leaks. So I'm kind of surprised on that front. So
I think it has a lot to do with the fact, 2 things on that. There have been a lot of not hacks, but definitely, like, problems with people working at home where their personal stuff at home isn't as locked down because they don't feel the pressure of it not being in an office. And not just video game companies, like a ton of fucking industry stuff, but they I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that somebody had their account kind of like, oh, well, I'm gonna, I can get into the computer and just look at certain files, not mess with anything, but just see certain files.
Yeah.
And so I think that might be what's happening. I could be totally wrong, and it could be somebody on the inside being like, I'm tired of this. I've been working on this game for 5 years, and nothing's been said. So
Right.
It could be anything, but regardless, like, also, y'all, take fucking leaks with a grain of salt. I know that we've said this in the past, talking about games and stuff when we do the podcast regularly, but take this shit with a grain of salt, genuinely.
Absolutely, unless it is, like, absolutely confirmed, like it is with No More Heroes 1 and 2, where there's an actual Steam page you can look up right now. Take a lot of what you've been hearsay and everything with a grain of salt. I think that it needs to be repeated since last week is have your expectations low for this year. It's nice to predict and kind of see, like, far reaches, long shots of, like, games coming out that you wish to see there. Absolutely. But I think that one of the things I think you and I think a lot of people actually, surprisingly, are having expectations low. We shall see.
One of the things that, like, I've been talking with my buddy while we play Fall Guys, that maybe it's just because, like, I turned fucking 38 this year, and I'm getting a little bored of the same old. Like, I want something unique. I want something that kind of changes and makes things a little bit less uniform. One of the things that has been a breath of fresh air recently for us was Fall Guys.
Yes.
It's not like anything I've played before. And to its credit, fucking Knockout City has been great in that regard. But we're just tired of shooters. I think that's honestly, like, where a lot of it comes from. And again, credit where credit's due. Resident Evil 8's great, but it's still a first-person shooter at heart. And I think because of that, because it is a first-person shooter, I think it loses just a little bit. But again, it's not a multiplayer shooter, so that's ultimately where this comes from. But anyway,
yeah.
What I'm excited for isn't what's going to be shown at E3. What I'm excited for is this summer game jam thing they're going to be showing off here soon with Jeff Keighley. Because there's going to be a lot of indie games in that, and that excites me.
Yes.
And anything Devolver Digital will do.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like,
hell yeah.
They're always like, oh, you want to make this really weird offbeat game that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but a lot of people could really enjoy it. Go, here's a bunch of money, make it. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Definitely.
As for like, I do want to see Starfield. I want to see what that is. I like sci-fi, so
we'll see it. One of my predictions. I actually did I post on my VTuber account? No, I think I didn't. What was it? I believe that we will see Starfield at E3 this year, and I think that it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. And day one Game Pass. I think that's going to be shown and promised. Date wise, maybe the date I think is a big maybe for me. But we'll see.
Oh yeah. I definitely. I don't care what date anybody puts in right now unless it's official. I just do. One of the things that really irritated me was who was it? I think it was my brother. But him and I were talking about games coming out, and he was like, "Yeah, there's a new Battlefield coming out." And I pay attention to all the fucking game news, and he goes, "This is also before the recent hey, June 9th, we're gonna have a fucking presentation." But he was adamant that there was a new one coming out that they had announced it, and I said, "Dude, nothing's been announced. Nothing has." He's like, "I swear to God," I was like, "Nope, I promise you, nothing has been officially announced about if there's even a fucking Battlefield 6." I said, "It's if you hear anything on the internet, you have to take that with a grain of salt, a major grain of salt." And he was like, "Why does that happen?" I was like, "Because people like to speculate. People like to put things out there in the universe that others will just believe." I said it's a real fucking problem. It's a real problem because people like you, Jeff, who don't follow the news like I do, fall for that stuff really easily. And then you're just sitting there holding the bag going, okay, well, what now? Where's this game? Where, and it frustrates me because it puts this weird dichotomy on these developers. And he was like, well, I mean, if what I heard's not true, that's fine, and I'll go to you every time. I was like, just pay attention to IGN. Pay attention to GameSpot. These are trusted, well-known fucking publishers that put out official news. Yes, does IGN and GameSpot and fucking Kotaku and Polygon, do they have their problems? 100%. There's no news industry that doesn't. Shit, we've gotten things wrong on here, Anthony. Almost at 80.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that that's going to happen. But what these news groups do is news will break. Hey, this new thing is coming out, and you won't see it on any of the trusted sources, and you'll have to wait for them to basically okay, we contacted blah blah blah, it's happening. Once that you see that, then trust it. Otherwise, don't.
Or
just don't.
Or wait till the company officially announces it. So that's kind of
which is what this. Yeah, this leak seems believable, but the part that's a little unbelievable is that they would have to redesign the game to be, not motion control, which I don't think is a terribly difficult thing to do, but it was built with the Wii in mind. So how do you completely rebuild a game that didn't have that to not have motion controls that was exclusively using motion controls, Mm-hmm. How do you do that? So that's the part of me that I'm like, it's still a big fucking maybe.
I mean, my answer to that would be QuickTime, but I'm not a game dev, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, I can see how they'd have to do it, but they'd literally have to borderline rebuild a bunch of parts of the game.
Yeah.
Which isn't impossible. They had to do that with the Mass Effect remake.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of stuff in the first game that had to completely rebuild, so I get it. I get why that would be difficult. I get why it'd be a problem, but at the same time, I also see it as a possibility. So it's kind of like, I will wait to hear no more Heroes on, PlayStation 4, Xbox One / Series X, and PC.
Yep. We shall see it definitely.
What I would believe more is if it came to the Switch.
Is it not rated on the Switch?
The 1 and 2, no.
That's interesting.
Pretty sure.
That is interesting. Well,
let me go to the store.
Yes, some live reporting from down on ground floor by Great Deeds, opening the Nintendo.
Because somebody was trying to hack into my Switch account, I had to change the password to something completely long and ridiculous. So I got to put that in first.
Gotcha.
Well, why don't you tell everybody what we came here to talk about originally?
Wasn't about E3.
We're getting yes, past E3s. I have something on my laptop right now that I couldn't find the actual thing to, but when oops, that's not how I want to go. When we start the conversation, I'll bring it up.
Okay. I mean, like I have here that you just want to talk about. Past E3s. Oh, I thought you meant this year's E3. Okay, I must have skipped over that message or that part of it. Okay, past E3s. Yeah.
I was like, you responded to it.
Well, I looked at it and I said like, okay, E3 this week's like, okay, sure, we'll talk about E3, and I didn't see the past part. Okay, so let me just turn my down a little bit. Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, we can talk about past E3s. I mean, like, if you want to go back in terms of like the history of all of it.
You can buy No More Heroes on the Switch. You can buy 1, 2, Travis Strikes Again, and they have a bunch of DLC for that, and you can pre-order No More Heroes 3.
Cool. Dope.
Oh, I was wrong. You can see it right there. All right. Well, that's just that question.
In terms of past E3s, what particular one did you want to point out, or just like reference to?
So, well, because how long have you been watching E3?
Oh man, I would say, God, I want to say the very first E3 that I started watching or started tracking was back in I want to say 2000s. I have a bit of a story regarding it. Because I do remember reading a lot of magazines back in the day regarding E3 and I was watching X Play and G4 TV, like in terms of like covering it and just having all of these booths happening at the same time. It was like a concert or like a big party pretty much of everything games. I believe that's when I started watching. And part of the reason why is because my friends, my friends at the time when we were in high school, found a way to get into E3. And this is back before they did the whole checking your media stuff. Like it seemed like anybody with a website can get in, and they managed to get in, and they took a bunch of pictures and they got some swag and stuff, and I was super jealous. I was like, I really wanted to go. So they told me about it and they took pictures. They told me they played the latest games or like about to come out. It's like, oh shit, it's awesome. But yeah, I feel like the 2000s I want to say is when I started really paying attention to E3. I can't remember as far back as it's been a while. It's been a while.
yeah. I was gonna say I remember knowing about E3 and talking about E3 back. I want to say like very very early 2000s, like 2002 or 2001. Like I was still in high school, I believe, but we only knew about it through specific outlets because it wasn't all over the internet and you couldn't stream it. And I remember seeing videos of like the big deal was when the GameCube was going to come out. They were like, hey, here's Mario 128. and it was like 128 Marios on this plate, and it was a big deal. This is before even Sunshine was announced.
Oh wow!
And shit, dude, this was before Luigi's Mansion was announced. That's how far back I'm talking. Like it was a. But I also remember seeing footage of like the Nintendo 64 at E3. But I wasn't like, that's the thing. A lot of people, like, E3 has become a spectator event. It's no longer just an industry thing. It originally was just an industry thing. If you were in the industry, you were making games, working in the games industry in some fashion, you could go. And it was meant for you. It was meant for that part of the world, because it was like, hey, what we got coming out, investors got to go and whatnot too.
Right. Right.
But as it became more popular, thanks to G4 and these magazines and like games, like GameSpot and IGN had live streaming things for this stuff. And in this particular era, which I'm going to get to, this was before a certain number of consoles. We were all still playing our Xbox and the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. So this was around 2005. No, it is 2005. IGN, in partnership with GameSpy,
oh shit, okay. made
this DVD. I don't know how well you can see it.
I can see it. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So for everybody at home, I'll read it because the camera got. Ooh, there we go. What it says is E3 Access 2005. See the future of video games now. Interviews and previews of all the latest video games. Xbox 360, Sony PlayStation 3, and Nintendo Revolution.
Ooh, wow.
That is what the Wii was called before it was the Wii.
I still believe that it's still a better name, but, you know, that's just me.
Look, let's be honest. Like, their naming scheme went down the fucking tubes after the Nintendo 64. Like, it was Nintendo Entertainment System, or Famicom, and then Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, and then it was Nintendo 64, then it was the GameCube, which is garbage, even though, you know, we all have nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
And arguably GameCube was the last one, but I think Dolphin is still a better name than GameCube.
Okay.
It is. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun than GameCube. Like, GameCube sounds like it's a dull fucking block. Like, GameCube feels like you're gonna go see the doctor. Whereas Dolphin, you're like, fucking dolphins, those are rad creatures. Like, anyway. And then Nintendo Revolution is so much cooler than the Wii.
Exactly. I've been saying that since they announced the name. The Nintendo Revolution, such a cooler name, but no, they went with the Wii. I'm like, why?
And then I don't even know if there was a code name for the Wii U, but Jesus Christ, that is a bad. Switch is back to a better form. Yeah. I think Switch is a very good.
Agreed.
Xbox needs to get on fucking board with not naming their consoles garbage things.
I don't. Yeah.
Like, I get that they want to make a line of consoles for different households, for different people, for different age ranges and financial aspects.
Yeah.
But you have to make it confusing for grandmothers. Like, it seems ridiculous.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, shit, it's not even grandmothers. Like, fucking, my friends were confused by it, and they're in their 30s. I mean,
you're not wrong. Like, you're not completely wrong on that.
I know I'm not. I was actually talking to somebody this last Christmas who worked at a GameStop, and he was saying, like, because I said, how many times have you had a conversation with an older person about the Xboxes? And he's like, too fucking many.
Yeah.
And I said, what would you have done differently if it was you? And he said, honestly, it'd just be a number scheme.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why the X or the 1 couldn't have been the 720, and then this new one could have been the 1080.
Oh, that would be hilarious though. Like, do you just?
I think it'd be better.
But do you just go up afterwards to 1080? And
yeah, you just keep doing 90 degrees. Or I guess 180 degrees technically, because that's half a circle.
Right.
But the 360 was meant to be a full circle. That's why it was called the 360. So if you did another 360, that'd be 720.
Yeah.
And then another 360 would be
the 900.
No, that's half, so it'd be 1080.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because 1080 is full. It's 3 full rotations. So anyway, the point I'm getting at is PlayStation has the naming scheme correct, but they don't have, like, I think Xbox has the most consumer friendly system out there right now, or the situation.
Yeah.
With like multiple variations on their systems for anyway. And then Game Pass is unrivaled at this point. Anyway, we're getting totally off track here. So this DVD, so it says Nintendo Revolution, which is amazing. And at the bottom it says PSP, Nintendo DS, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, PC, and GBA. So that's the front. Let me read you the back. The back is amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah, the back has oh boy. Let me get a little bit of water to wet my whistle.
Go for it. I will say while you're getting this down, it so happens I just watched the Djibouti show last week. Go over over old E3 footage, and seeing some of that just gave me a whiplash. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, because like one of the things they did in that was they watched compilations of bad moments from E3. And they are bad, don't get me wrong, they're fucking terrible, but especially with the Kinect, good lord. But I wanted them to watch like stuff that was amazing from E3, which did they ever get to that? Because I only watched the first time.
No. It was funny, like the they kind of skimmed around with other clips. I know the very last thing they watched was filming people's reactions to Metal Gear Solid 2 footage or intro, and Kojima was there presenting it. They had that footage. They had the initial footage of him presenting it. They didn't show the gameplay, but they showed the initial footage of Kojima going up in front of a bunch of business people in a small room. But they had the actual gameplay trailer, I guess, on a big screen, like on the show floor, and you can see just a crowd of people just standing still watching it. At some point, there was a shot where one guy looked like he was crying while watching it. Yeah, no, they didn't really go into the awesome stuff, which is kind of like more the weird stuff that happened at E3, which happens a lot, at least prior years. Last time I remember was seeing Snoop Dogg smoking weed and got interviewed for one of the EA games. So that happened.
I mean, to this day, one of my favorite E3 moments is when Rocco from Mega 64 was talking to the Rooster Teeth guys.
Oh, cool!
But in character as somebody else.
Nice.
It was fucking hilarious. Like he was acting like a gatekeeping gamer as the character he was playing. It was so fucking funny. If you have a chance to go look that up, it was about 4 years ago, I want to say, and then he was like, I have footage of a game from Japan that's only in Japan and needs to come to America, and they play the footage, but it's this old footage from a really bad Mega 64 video way back in the day. It's funny. It's really fucking funny. And that's the thing, is that Bernie and Gus had no fucking clue what was going on. They sprung this on him. They had it scheduled that they were going to talk to Rocco from Mega 64 about E3. That's what they knew. They didn't know anything else. And what they got was fucking hilarious.
Nice.
But anyway, okay, so the back of this DVD says this: your complete guide to the world's biggest video game event, E3 Access 2005. A 4-disc DVD set gives you your ticket to the hottest video game event of the year. This massive 14-hour production, and I'm sure I've watched that 14 hours more than once.
Wow.
Production includes exclusive interviews with leading game developers, hundreds of game previews for titles that won't hit store shelves for months to come. A problem that's in the industry for a long time. behind-the-scenes footage of the annual Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles, exclusive next-generation console coverage, complete multi-camera press conference coverage, and so much more. E3 is the world's largest, most exciting, well-attended gathering of the finest minds in the video game industry. And E3 Access 2005 brings together a complete behind-the-scenes package of games, interviews, and babes. Wow. Placing you right in the thick of the action. Booth babes. Remember that one? That was a thing?
Yeah, I was to say, that was a thing. Yeah.
in bold text here, it says 14 hours of game demos, trailers, interviews, booths, and babes.
Mm-hmm.
Bold text.
Mm-hmm.
Next generation of video games in action includes over 280 titles, complete press coverage, exclusive interviews, developer demonstrations. And then like right here, I can see like 3 pictures, and it says Killzone PS3.
Ooh.
Sony press conference and Need for Speed, or just says NFS. So yeah, Need for Speed. Jesus Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's most wanted for the 360. And then below that, it shows a girl standing in front of what looks like a poster for the DVD itself, saying "Booth Babe." Gears of War for the 360. Floor and fan cam. Not sure what that means. Direct feed game trailers, Booth Babe featurette. So there was a whole featurette on this fucking DVD. Good lord. E3 insiders floored and fan cam and making of featurette. Yeah, they need to know the making of the fucking entire event. It had 3D CG menus and game index. I like these are designed to make you want to buy it. So it's like, oh my god. It has 3D fucking menus. Sign me up. Who cares? Why? Who cares?
Because it was the early 2000s and 3D was shit.
Yeah, no, it really, yeah, you're not wrong. Extras and so much more. The only DVD produced in cooperation with E3. And then next to that, you see Twilight Princess and Nintendo press conference.
Wow.
The aspect ratio was only 4:3, so that's fun.
Woo, baby. That sweet 4:3, man. Oh.
Does this have reviews? Please tell me this has reviews. Oh, it doesn't have a single review. No.
Oh man.
I'm gonna see if there's reviews on this, because that'd be hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man, like. Yeah. Man. Thinking back in terms of like how E3 was or how it was covered, like it was pretty insane. I think for me, when I think of E3, when I think of like just some of the, I think for me like one of the most memorable moments was, it was during the Sony press conference. I forgot who the actor's name was, but he used to represent Sony for a bit as a kind of the PR marketing guy, and it was he gave a speech during one of their press conferences, and it was actually really good. Like. It was like at that time I was like, it's good to be a gamer. I was like, oh my god, it's it touched me. But it was really good speech. In terms of like why is it good to be a gamer and why you like games. It was really good, and I remember not too long after that I see the Sweet Tooth car crash into the Sony press conference announcing the next Twisted Metal. So I was like, okay, this is just dumb silly fun now.
Yeah. Apparently they also made one for 2004. I'm gonna type in the different years and see what I get. 2003.
Go for it. Yeah.
No, there was no 2003. 2006. Nope, because that's when they started being able to stream it.
Yeah.
That is when they started being able to stream it. Wow.
Yeah.
So there are only 2. I have one of the only 2 E3 Access DVDs.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
I gotta find that, because I was trying to find it before we recorded so I could like hold it up and be like, look what I have.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. What stood to you over the years at E3? Like, was it a particular moment, or was there like a thing that came out that just like blew your mind when it came to the announcement and the actual product?
That's a good question. I remember seeing. I think one of the things that always stands out in my mind is that the Halo 2 presentation that was shown at the Microsoft press conference wasn't even in the game. Wasn't even in the game.
Yep, I remember
that.
It was fabricated.
Yeah. I remember the announcement of the Wii itself when they showed the controller, and everyone's just like, "The fuck? The fuck is that?"
Yeah.
Wow. So
go ahead.
So I'm looking at dates of E3. So it's like the event history, and let's see. Wow, that was the lowest attendance.
What was lowest attendance?
2008.
Oh, I think
it was only 5,000.
I think I know why. Was that the year where it was in the Santa Monica?
No, that was the year before.
Oh.
2007 was the Santa Monica one.
Weird.
This is in the LA Convention Center.
Wow, that's crazy.
And there's no links as to why. Yeah, I have. Hold on, let me Google it.
Okay, go for it. That's a weird one.
Why was 2000?
Because I believe it was still a thing where they'd gotten better at restricting people who can get into E3 for sure. But you could still find a way to get in. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at I'm trying to figure it out. So here's an article that says the time the industry almost killed E3. Yeah, except all cookies, I don't care. So do you want me to read this real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. It says the ESA is embarrassing E3. As much as the ESA may object to the annual parade of... Sorry, this is an article on GameIndustry.biz written by Brendan Sinclair. He wrote this in 2016, so just to give credit where credit's due. As much as the ESA may object to the annual parade of is E3 still relevant, editorials across the gaming press, it's a question the event organizers raised themselves a decade ago. In the aftermath of a massive E3 2006, that saw 60,000 attendees crammed into the halls of the LA Convention Center, the ESA decided the format simply didn't work any longer. The world of interactive entertainment has changed since E3 Expo was created 12 years ago, said the then ESA president Doug Lowenstein. At the time, we were focused on establishing the industry and securing orders for the holiday season. Over the years, it has become clear that we need a more intimate program, including higher quality, more personal dialogue with the worldwide media, developers, retailers, and other key industry audiences. It is no longer necessary or efficient to have a single industry mega show. By refocusing on a highly targeted event, we think we can do a better job serving our members and the industry as a whole. For 2007, the show would be downsized about 5,000 invited attendees, renamed the E3 Media and Business Summit, and moved to nearby Santa Monica, even though it cost the ESA $5 million just to get out of the contract with the LA Convention Center.
Wow. So
how did the new and improved E3 grow? People hated it. In response, the ESA moved the show back to the cavernous LA Convention Center for 2008, but made the odd decision to keep the downsized attendance. Naturally, people hated it even more. I really can't stress that enough. It was loathed. So much so that the ESA basically undid most of its changes to the show to make E3 2009 a big-time spectacle that people had grown accustomed to before, albeit with more stringent admission policies to keep attendance down to a more reasonable 41,000 and no Kentia Hall. So
Kentia Hall. Okay.
Kenta, okay.
So I'm now that you bring that up, now I'm starting to remember some of the conversations. So the media, the media outlets hated the attendees because they were getting in the way of their work. In terms of like, I mean, they have appointments for sure. They have set that up for sure. But there are definitely times where, if they want to play something on the ground floor, you're met with like a 20 to 30, 50 person line just to go and play for maybe like a half hour, 45 minutes of a game. And in some cases, they can even cut the line too. I distinctly remember that the media just did not like the whole attendee thing. And they wanted some way for ESA to cut them out or do something. And I think that's the reason why it was low attendance, because they probably did that again. Which is, you know, I understand through a media aspect. You know, we used to be media. So like, yeah, like I can understand from that aspect, but I think that as time went on, they kind of figured out like, oh wait, no, we should have people in here because they want to have the excitement of people going nuts for a thing and all that jazz. So,
yeah, it makes sense. By the way, I'm looking at a list of featured games for each E3, and I'm on 2009 right now. Wow, these were announced in 2009. It's crazy to think that this E3 was only 12 years ago. But like the biggest names for 360 that were announced in 2009 were Alan Wake, Crackdown 2, Halo Reach, Modern Warfare 2, Halo 3 ODST, Left 4 Dead 2, Perfect Dark, kind of, because it was just a remake on the arcade.
Right.
For the Wii, it was Metroid Other M, which turned out to be garbage. New Super Mario Brothers Wii, Mario Galaxy 2, and a bunch of like Wii Sports Resort and Plus Fit. For the 3D, or for the DS, Spirit Tracks, Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Oh my god, and Kingdom Hearts 358 by 2 days.
Yes.
I don't remember this game at all, but for the PlayStation 3 there was Agent.
Yes.
Final Fantasy 14. Which is now a big popular PC MMO, but
yes.
Last Guardian was announced in 2009.
And that game took decades to come out? Oh man, I remember that.
Yeah. Heavy Rain. Assassin's Creed 2.
Man.
God damn, that franchise. Ratchet & Clank, A Crack in Time. This is before the first remake. Wow, Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
God of War 3.
There were some heavy bangers in 2009.
Yeah, good lord. All right, let's go to 2010.
Okay. I will say, so Agent, to let you know, I remember specifically about this. This was a game, it was a trailer. There was no gameplay footage of it, but it was a trailer, much like TF2, that was going to be developed by Insomniac. But they scrapped it and they made, what was that game they just released recently too? It's a remake. It came on Steam. It's where you get to skate around on rooftops. It's like Just Take Grand Radio, but it's not. God, it's on tip of my tongue too. Oh, it's gonna kill me. Hang on, let me look it up real quick while you do your thing.
Well, I'll list off a couple other games that were announced in 2010. Big games that everyone kind of remembers, I think. But we got Spec Ops: The Line, XCOM, because this is also separated not just by console. This is separated by developer.
Also, side note, it was Sunset Overdrive I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. I tried to get into that game. I mean, it's not bad. It's just rough.
Yeah, I need to check it out at some point. But go on, continue.
So we got Call of Duty Black Ops, DJ Hero 2, Tony Hawk Shred. I don't remember this one at all. It was motion controlled. Oh, it had the fucking board with it. That's what it was.
I remember that.
And if you didn't play it, you missed out. But Transformers War for Cybertron, the third-person shooter, story-based game.
It's a hell of a game, man. That is a fucking
it's so
good.
Oh, I hated this game. Brink from Bethesda.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
I hated that. It was so awful. And the first Rage. Capcom had Bionic Commando Rearm 2. I don't really... Whatever. Dead Rising 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That was announced in 2010.
Nice. That's right. I was interning at oneup.com at that time. It was awesome.
Oh shit! Okay.
At that time when I was being released, I was interning there, and I remember we got an early copy of Marvel 3, and like I went to play it, and I was like, because I told him like I play Marvel 2, like it's my jam, and nobody there really played fighting games except for me, so I was like, okay, cool, Marvel 3, awesome. I played it. It was fun. It was like really cool, and then they had an after party over nearby, which I attended, and it was pretty sick. It was pretty awesome.
Nice. Disney announced Epic Mickey.
Oh,
the first one for the Wii.
Damn, that was yeah.
Fucking Tron Evolution. Oh boy, forgot about that. That game was actually it wasn't bad. Like it was actually pretty fun. It didn't age well. Like I actually went and because it was like $2 on the Xbox, and I downloaded it, and it has problems. But all right, so EA had APB. I can't believe that still has a life. I can't believe there's still a fucking massive group of people. I am just gassy suddenly. Group of people that still play that game.
Yeah.
Battlefield Bad Company 2, Bulletstorm. I fucking love Bulletstorm. I also love Bad Company. I should clarify that.
Yeah, both
great games.
Good games.
Crisis 2, Dead Space 2,
Ooh,
a shit ton of sports games, the remake of Medal of Honor. That was a good year for EA. Jesus. Konami announced Castlevania Harmony of Despair, Lords of Shadow, the first Lords of Shadow, which is like the remake of the entire fucking Castlevania storyline. Let's see. Oh, Def Jam Rap Star.
Yeah,
I was hoping for Def Jam Fighters. That game needs a fucking remake, or not remake, but another one, real quick.
Yeah, Def Jam Fight for You, or not? That's the sequel. But yeah, there's a lot of people who really want that to be remade or a sequel to. It would be awesome.
So 2 years before it was actually released, it was announced at E3 2010, but Silent Hill 8 or Silent Hill Downpour. And then we had Metal Gear Solid Rising, Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was announced at 2010. I don't know if it was released in 2003 or 2013. So it was released 3 years after it was announced. That's a problem, dude. Like that shit needs to end now. Like if it's not ready, if you don't think that you can release it in a playable state, don't announce it. Like if it needs polishing, go ahead and announce it. If all it needs is polishing, go ahead and announce it. But if it's not ready for market, don't fucking talk about it. That's my 2 cents. Sorry.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
LucasArts revealed Force Unleashed 2, also Lego Star Wars stuff, and the announcement of the Old Republic, the MMO.
Ooh, that's right. I played a little bit of that. That was fun. It was fun for a little bit, and afterwards I kind of just fell off. Yeah,
no, I agree. Microsoft had Fable 3, Gears of War 3, Halo Reach again, and a shit ton of Kinect games. Dance Central, Rock Band 3. I loved Rock Band. Namco Bandai had a Ace Combat game, Clash of the Titans, which was tied into the film, Enslaved, which is a highly underrated game. Couple anime-based games, Splatterhouse, which turned out to be great.
I remember that.
That version was really bad, though. Yeah, that version was really bad, though.
It looked cool, but it was bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. Nintendo had Animal Crossing New Leaf, Donkey Kong Country Returns, Dragon Quest IX, Kid Icarus Uprising, Kirby's Epic Yarn,
Yes.
Skyward Sword, Mario Kart 7, Nintendo Cats and Dogs.
Yep.
Paper Mario Sticker Star turned out to be bad. It's the other notable ones. Star Fox 64 3D.
Oh right, that was on the DS. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they put that multiplayer part into it. Sega had Sonic Adventure for the PS3 and the 360. And then the first episode of Sonic the Hedgehog 4, which was such a shit game. Good lord.
Yeah.
Though they did have in that same year, they did announce a much fucking better Sonic game that came out that year, which was Sonic Colors, which is getting a remake, which is fantastic. That's actually a good fucking Sonic game.
And getting
this is coming for
and getting an animated series.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Forgot about that. And this is coming from somebody who does not like Sonic games for the most part, but Vanquish from Sega, which is actually a really good game that not a lot of people played. Square Enix had Final Fantasy XIV. Jesus, Kane and Lynch 2.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I remember that. Yeah. I mean,
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's a Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. And then Kingdom Hearts Recoded, and then Kingdom Hearts 3D, which is Dream Drop Distance. 3 Kingdom Hearts games were announced that year.
Wow, that's mind-blowing, man.
Oh, wow, that's right. So this is so Square Enix released a game called Lara Croft the Guardian of Light, which was successful enough, but it was only 2 players. So they released a second one, same idea, isometric puzzle type game that you play up to 4 players.
Right.
And my friend actually voiced one of the main 4 players.
No way. Oh, shit.
Yeah. You might have met her because she was with TFO a lot. Her name was Ray.
It rings a bell, but the picture is not coming up. Wow, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, she voiced the goddess Isis.
Oh,
which,
cool. Nice.
In retrospect, maybe not the best name for a character, but whatever. But she I forgot about that. That's nuts. Those are good games, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Sony announced a lot. Good lord. I'll just name a few here. A bunch of like PSP stuff. A lot of PSP stuff. A few PS3 things that just didn't really pick up, but like Gran Torino 5. Infamous 2 was a big one.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
Killzone 3.
Ooh.
Little Big Planet 2. Oh, Motorstorm Apocalypse. God, I fucking love
playing the hell of a game.
Motorstorm.
That was a hell of an awesome game, man. That was really cool.
It really was, yeah. Going down. Talking about Last Guardian again. Doesn't come out for another 4 years. Wait. 6 years. Doesn't come out for another 6 years since they talked about it.
Ooh, boy.
That is a lot. Holy shit. Oh my god, and the garbage Twisted Metal that was like Sweet Tooth versus his daughter or some shit like that.
What Twisted Metal was this?
So it came out on the PS3 and it was, you were still in teams, but it was like, it was automated cars or some shit like that, and it was his daughter versus him.
You're talking
or some shit like that.
This was the last game that David Jaffe made. That's right, the Twisted Metal.
I don't think it was. Hang on, look.
Because
I could be wrong. This released in 2012, so it was 2 years prior.
I would. What? I believe.
No, David Jaffe. Okay, yeah. Nope, you're right. David Jaffe did work on it.
Yeah. Which, hey, to be fair, all the cutscenes were sick. I love the fact they went back to the live action thing.
Okay, I'm incorrect. This Twisted Metal still wasn't as popular, but this was pseudo classic Twisted Metal.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Still not as good as Black, but
I don't think any Twisted Metal can be better than Black.
fair. Ooh, THQ.
Ooh.
You know, that company that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I mean, it kind of is in a roundabout way right now, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So they announced Devil's Third.
Oh, yeah.
Which most people will remember that via the Game Grumps episode that they played it. Fucking Russian guy. The Blob 2. Fucking Homefront. I forgot about Homefront.
Yeah, that was a thing. That was
oh my god.
You know what? For what it is, it was okay. I remember when I was working at oneup.com, we had a copy of Homefront, and I asked one of my coworkers who was playing it, it's like, how is it? Like, it's fine, you know. So like it's like from what I've seen and what I played a little bit, it was okay. It wasn't as bad as people may think, although it's still pretty bad.
I beat the game, I think, but I remember being super underwhelmed about it. That's, I think, the important part. Like, it didn't play poorly. It just was fucking presented very poorly. But I remember making a big complaint about it. I actually still have them on my YouTube channel, but it's a video of me and my buddy Justin complaining about that you have to press a button to use the turnstile because you have to go to a stadium because they're using the stadium as like a mass grave or some shit.
Right.
And you have to press a button to go through the turnstile, and then when you get out to the field, you have to press a button to jump into the fucking mass grave, and then like button mash to cover yourself up with dead bodies so you don't get caught. And I went, boy, this just seems like it could have been a cutscene. Just a thought.
Yeah.
I remember complaining about it then. What year did that come out? It came out in... It's not showing me. Hold on. Let me go to the actual page itself. It came out in 2011, so it was a year after this E3.
Oh, wow.
Red Faction Armageddon. Great game. Great fucking game.
Yep.
WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. I probably played it and enjoyed it. WWE Online, I never played that. That was also PC only.
Wow, I didn't even know there was an online only game. That's crazy.
And this was possibly my favorite WWE game that has come out in a long fucking time. Like, nothing is compared to this since. But WWE All-Stars.
Wow. Oh, yes, absolutely. All-Stars is probably the best WWE game. Was it about the Ukes? Or was it a different developer?
Developed by THQ San Diego, so not Ukes.
Okay.
This was the one that was like super arcadey and over the top.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Bar none, I think probably the best WWE game to be created.
Which is nuts because they need to do it again. I think if it had the ability to be an online fucking game, imagine if you will, Anthony, you go into a very arcadey type of WWE style game, or wrestling game for that matter, and you go into a 30-man competition, right?
Yeah.
But it is designed exactly like a fucking battle royale.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to the extent of like you get randomly chosen to fucking get like thrown into the goddamn game. Like, so you hit. Let me just paint the picture for everyone watching.
Okay.
You hit start match, right? And it goes finding players. It finds 30 players, and you go sweet. And then all of a sudden, before it starts, it goes you are number 16. So you have to wait for 15 other players to enter the ring.
I see what you're saying. And
then you get to go in. And if you get thrown out over the top, you're out.
That's crazy. You're just out. So you're saying like basically, what if there was a mode or a game that basically you are in line to come into the ring, but multiplayer for a Royal Rumble, essentially.
Yeah.
It
would be a battle royale in a sense. I mean, because that's literally what it's called.
Yeah.
but it is. You don't get to. It's not all 30 players at once. You get randomly, like, because that's the thing. In the WWE, when they make the battle royale, there are certain wrestlers that have a number, and they're chosen specifically because it's a show. But everybody else that goes out there, who's a jobber, who's just going to get knocked out, they get randomly selected. It's literally like a random lottery, no joke. Why not do that for a video game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That'd be cool. I'm pretty sure Vince is up there probably saying no, though. I don't get it.
Oh, I'm sure. It's, and we'll have another shitty fucking WWE game from EA here soon, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Ubisoft showed off Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So 3 hadn't even come out by now, or we didn't even talk about.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit, dude. This game is this old. I believe it was this year. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Ooh, that game. Yeah, it came out this year. The remake, or on PC now, so. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually bought it on both the. That's incorrect. I bought it on the PS3 or PS4, and I won a Xbox One version of it.
Nice.
Through a Twitch stream. The guy was doing like a random drawing, and fucking my name popped up, and I'd never been in his channel before, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
I was gonna say, I remember my brother and I bought the game on 360, and we played it. It was really fun. But when we heard that they were taking it down, there's no way to get it. We made sure that game stays on our hard drive, and still is to this day on our 360. My brother has it now, but yeah, no, it's that game went through a very interesting process of being downloaded, bought, then taken down for a long amount of years, and then being back this year.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, okay. Rayman Origins.
Yep.
Great game. I love that game.
Good game.
Couple Tom Clancy games that I don't really remember, but 2 of them were on the 3DS, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. This was the year. Same year it was released, Portal 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Portal 2 is 10 years old today, or this year.
10 years old. God, we are old.
It's like one of my favorite games of all time, too. Jesus Christ, this is a decade old.
When's Portal 3?
We're never getting a Portal 3. Like, you have to keep in mind, the fear of never being able to meet fans' expectations has kept not just Gabe Newell, but a lot of people at Valve from making or from greenlighting these games.
I would agree with you on that for a very long time until Half-Life Alyx came out this year, which is like Half-Life.
It's not 3.
It's still a Half-Life game, a high budgeted Half-Life game. So they made something that is good. I'm not talking about that whole card game they made that was not really didn't do well, but they're making games again. It gives me a slight bit of hope. And Half-Life 3 is on the table, by the way. Just saying.
Well, I'm not saying that any of them are off the table, but like when the developers of Left 4 Dead leave to go make their own Left 4 Dead, that should tell you a fucking lot.
I know. It's
because that franchise wasn't even fucking story based necessarily.
Right.
Like what in 3 would have been different other than new zombies and new characters?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot of problem there, but I don't even know what the developers of Portal 2 are doing now. They probably went off and did something else, and I don't even know about it yet.
I'm pretty sure they're off. They probably left already at this point, so I don't think they're.
Actually, let me Google that real quick. What are the devs of Portal 2 doing now?
I feel like Valve is just like another version of Nintendo, except like they just are very laid back in terms of like, what games they want to make, and even if they do, they take forever on them.
Oh, there's nothing substantial. There's a bunch of mods. Yeah, I know about that. Used in education. That's great.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's nothing. There's fucking nothing. I mean, I can go to writers, artists. That's crazy. I mean, we did get closure at the end of Portal 2.
Yeah.
So I never felt like I needed a 3. I just wanted more Portal puzzles, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, that is true.
Fuck, that game's a decade old. That's nuts. Anyway, the last one on here is Warner Brothers, and then we probably should wrap this podcast up because Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Batman Brave and the Bold video game, which if you haven't watched that cartoon, you are missing out. It is prime campy fucking Batman. Yep. And then Arkham City was announced.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, which is arguably the best of the trilogy.
Yep.
But Fear 3 was announced.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
The Zack Snyder directed movie of this is the game version of Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole. People forget that that's a Zack Snyder joint.
Yeah,
Lego Harry Potter. A couple Lord of the Rings games that I don't fucking remember. And the first NetherRealm soft reboot of Mortal Kombat.
Oh shit! MK9?
Yeah, it was announced. What? Yeah, 9.
Nice. The beginning of the remake of Mortal Kombat. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then,
oh boy. So go ahead.
What year was this? All these games?
2010.
Wow. Damn.
So my curiosity lies in the idea of, like, now that we've gone back 10 years and we looked at what E3 was 10 years ago, I did technically 11, whatever. What do we know about 2021 that I meant to click on the article 2021 that could be substantial?
In terms of new games, or in terms of just like kind of contrast between then and now?
Then and now. Because that's the thing is, then we had a lot of announcements that were exciting. Now we're being spoiled, and because of the pandemic, what new games could they possibly show up that aren't going to be years out?
Part of it is the audience has changed, and part
True.
of it is
kids that were 10 then are now 20, 21 now.
That is true, but also think of like the resources we had back then versus now. Like back then,
sure.
In 2010, Twitter Twitter didn't start yet, or about to in their year, and internet resources was still scarce. It was still, I still want to believe that 2010 and below was still the early days of the internet in terms of like not as crazy as it is today. I could be wrong on that. But the new speculation and like things were possibly leaked were non-existent, so we didn't know anything about what was going to be announced at E3 back in 2010. And now we have so many resources. Expectations of games have gone up. Players have been, I think, spoiled by a lot of games, not just from the AAA space, but like from the indie side as well. And
it's funny you mentioned the indie side, because I was just looking at a thing called the Guerrilla Collective. Mm-hmm. A group of indie developers and publishers held a 2-day showcase of new game announcements over June 5th to June 12th. Game announced during the 2-day event included, and then just a shit ton of games.
Yeah, it's actually that video I sent you, that Fall Guys clone, was actually from that Guerrilla Collective.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
What was the name of that game?
I forgot. It's
Trivia something or others.
Yeah. I linked it to you. Hang on. But like I was going through the page, the E3 page we're following, that this guy makes, which is awesome. And it's a list of it's called Survival Wwe City. and it's a list of game trailers and gameplay footage of games that have been announced for E3 and color coded for for each section. So for this one, he's talking about the Collective, and that's one of the games that are shown. But yeah, like the indie space has grown so much. The indie space has grown so much where like they can even compete with the big dogs now.
So, okay, I just want to read this real quick because it's talking about E3 2021. And as you've stated numerous times, because of the pandemic, because of times being changed, because of different platforms, how this is being held is so drastically fucking different. So the main press conferences, we have Ubisoft on the 12th. We have Microsoft / Bethesda on the 13th, because now Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, but they're still their own entity. So it's like Pixar stuff being shown off at D3 or D23.
Yeah.
Square Enix on the 13th, Capcom on the 14th, Take-Two on the 14th, Nintendo on the 15th, and Bandai Namco on the 15th. Those are the main ones that are titled as press conferences. Other events, you have the Guerrilla Collective. Then you have the IGN Expo on June 11th, which will have gameplay news, new gameplay reveals, and announcements. Then you have the Wholesome Direct 2021, which will be on the 12th. Will feature over 75 indie titles. Yeah. But I don't it says wholesome game, so what does that mean exactly?
That's a good question.
Limited Run will have theirs on the 14th. 25 announcements they'll have. Steam Next Fest, which will be the 16th to the 22nd. Summer Game Fest, which we were talking about earlier, which will be on the 11th. And then EA Play, which will be on the 22nd of July. So EA is like, we'll party next month, guys.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And Sony hasn't announced their thing yet, have they?
No, they're not.
Interesting.
Wow. I'm gonna bookmark this because I wanna jot all the shit down on the calendar.
Yeah, they actually I'll have to link it to you. They actually someone made a Google calendar of all the press conferences to be notified that way if you want to go in that direction. But yeah, I mean, like, it's pretty clear from 2010 to now. Now it's like everybody any company that has the ability to stream and show their game can do so now and not need E3, or maybe they do. So it's kind of both ways.
Yeah, I think it's like we talked about before, how EA will have their own show, but during Microsoft or Sony's thing, they'll show off a game.
Yeah,
they'll do something like that. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this month's all the announcements and stuff. What's great about us doing it in this format now, where we just do a Sunday show, is that we can watch it without I can go to work and then come home and watch it. I don't have to watch any of it live, though some of it I will. Some of it I absolutely will watch live. Yeah, man, like I said, I'm excited for new stuff. I want to see games that I've never played before. I want to see the next Fall Guys. I want to see the next Overwatch. I want to see the next Knockout City. And I don't mean sequels to these games. I mean innovative games that I've never played before. That's what I mean by this. So
yeah. Same. I don't have anything in particular that I'm really excited for this year's summer. I would say at this point, E3 and Summer Game Fest and all that jazz. There might be a game or two I might be forgetting right now, but yeah, no, I'm excited to see what comes to the table. What's new. Indie wise or AAA wise, and I'm just excited to be excited.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's been a long time since we've had anything that felt new.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that will do it for the both of us. Before we go, where can I find you on the internet?
You can follow me on all socials under Chubrock Geek. You can also find the podcast I do with my friends Betty and Maya, where we review streaming shows on different platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, yada yada yada. And also, I'm doing reviews of individual reviews of maybe a game or a movie on either the Mission Star podcast or Mission Star Tubes, I should say, a YouTube channel, which is likely where you're watching this. But also on the All Queued Up podcast YouTube channel, I review some shows.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Awesome.
That's it. That's it for me.
For me, you can follow me on Twitter, my personal Twitter, at Defective Naruto. You can follow my VTuber Twitter at Clawmaster_. Follow our work here at the good old YouTubes at Mission Star Tubes, where we do all sorts of content, and this is just one of them, to guide you through the entire summer of E3 and Summer Game Fest and all that jazz, because we used to do that for a bit. And now we're doing it again.
Yeah.
Because we're old. But
a little different. We used to do live reactions to things, and
yeah.
But well, I remember one E3 we did we recorded like 4 different fucking shows in a week.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
It was pretty nuts. It was pretty insane.
Do expect these episodes to get a little longer as we progress through the month of June, because there's a lot of content. There's a lot of stuff we're gonna be watching. So
there is, yeah. There's
like 1 week we're gonna have it's literally 1 week in June, from like the 11th to like 7 days later. It's gonna be just like this conference and this conference. So like the episode's gonna be like 3 fucking hours long. It feels like. But
right. Oh boy, but yeah, that's gonna do it for us. So with that being said, thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys this weekend as we all watch and get excited for E3.